Okay, so third time's a charm. So I think my speaker is completely shot. So I'm gonna speak loudly and clearly, and hopefully it echoes off the floor. So Radha was sacrificial. She gave up everything to be with her lover, to be with Krishna. So this tells me that the masculines have done a lot of soul searching and are continuing to do so. And they've reached for the answers and for clarity, but now they're looking inside of themselves versus looking outside of themselves and using someone else or something else to really lean on for support or to try to give them what they need when they really need to give that to themselves. But they see you in a very, very loving light at this point in time. And they are definitely in awe of the feminine, in awe of what you've done for them, in awe of what you've shown them. This may or may not be playing out in the 3D. So I don't want you guys to jump to conclusions about, oh, my masculine hasn't called me, or we're not in contact, or someone else has called them. It doesn't matter. Everyone has different timelines that they've decided on as a shared soul. And this may or may not be the time for your masculine to reach out, but it doesn't mean that they're not feeling the love and feeling the passion towards you and for this journey. So I feel like a resurgence of the love, a resurgence of the romance and the passion, wanting to get to you, but maybe it's just not the right time. Okay, so just be patient, Divine Feminine. They are definitely in a feminine energy, at least at the time of this reading. Remember, with the readings, these are collective energies. It's not a personal reading, and I'm tapping into the energies at present moment. So that could shift and change, and it is shifting and changing at any time. So please don't hold on or attach to anything I'm saying. Really look deep within and see if this is your message or not. Okay, so let's take a look now for the feminine's energy. Let's take a look here and see. Interesting. So this has to do with the yogic path. So we have the yamas. So this is about living your life right. It takes a lot of discipline. So there's some disciplining that is happening now, or has been happening for the Divine Feminine. The yamas are the 8 limbs or the 8 stages of yoga. And, in America here, right, yoga is this fast-paced cardio kind of a workout, and it's all about, who's wearing what and who can stretch, how far. But the true meaning of yoga is, it's to yoke, which is to... It's to go within, and it is to blend, it is to merge, and it's the merging of the masculine and the feminine, right? It's creating that union within, and that's why yoga is so powerful, because you go to your mat, and your mat becomes this sanctuary where you can really express yourself and where you can heal. So the yoke, the union of the energies, and you see this beautiful reflection here of this beautiful woman, and you see this crystalline energy here, because things become more clear when you're on a spiritual path, or at least they can be, depending if you're on the right path or you're on the wrong path. But this is all about generosity, compassion. It's about being humbled. It's about peace. It's about seeking love as that universal truth and universal choice for her life. So the feminine has really mastered ahimsa, which is interesting because this is the card that I chose earlier on the reading that didn't come through for the masculine. So that first, do no harm, do no harm towards self. You have to have self-love, and that's what the masculines were lacking. And so now that they're starting to develop that and understand that and pursue that, which is why they may be quiet or distant, Divine Feminine, right? We have to honor that, because you don't want a masculine coming forward who doesn't love himself and isn't in that place where he's able to give anything to you, because he can't even give anything to himself. So it's interesting to see the yamas come up for the feminine, because it tells me that she has mastered and is mastering this concept of ahimsa, and the compassion that you've displayed, Divine Feminine, to all living beings, to all sentient beings, seen or unseen, heard or unheard, is not going unnoticed. So the universe is noticing this. You live your life from a place of truth. You pour honesty into everything that you do, and this is recognized by the divine intelligence, by the universe, by God, by the cosmos, by the powers that be, and it's recognized by your masculine. It's definitely recognized. He is in awe and reverence of the work that you've done and continue to do, because he knows that you're not just doing it for your connection or for him. He knows that you're doing it for the planet. He understands that you are this powerful being of light. He really truly does. Even if he just calls it a soulmate or he doesn't know what to call it, he understands that there's something deep here. So, you know, people look at you, divine feminine, and they are in awe. So it's not just the divine masculine that you consider yours, your counterpart. It's all of the masculines, all of the feminines. It's the universe looking in awe at the feminine, and that is rising on the planet. So continue practicing, you know, compassion and non-judgment and truth and control, like a deep sense of control, meaning boundaries, healthy boundaries, and also non-possessiveness, like I don't possess you, you don't possess me. That's really big on this journey for the feminine to learn, in particular to heal that codependency. So I'm really happy to see those powerful energies arise for the counterparts at this time. So I'd like to go over to the Quantum Oracle, which I don't really use that often, and just see what can we tap into here in regards to the journey. Interesting. So we see fear, conflict in the loving woman. So we see a bit of a contradictory energy, which is very much in line with March. There's been just from one moment to the next, you're probably feeling different energies from one day to the next. One thing I want to really report on, and this is from a personal experience, is you may be extra sensitive right now to substances. I would really refrain from alcohol, from any other intoxicating substances right now, because you may do a little bit and you may feel a lot, and it may not feel very good. So use your own judgment, guys, as always, but understand that you are more susceptible now than ever because your light body is coming online, because we're moving through ascension more rapidly than we can even comprehend on a human level, because your masculine is ascending, okay? The world is ascending. So be very careful and mindful with what you choose to ingest at this time. That includes just regular food and drink as well. That's all I'm going to say about that, but I'm sure some of you have experienced that. It's not fun. It can really throw you off balance and out of sorts. So be very careful. Okay, so we have fear and conflict for the masculine. This is the energy of fear. There's a conflict that has occurred. And what I see here is there's a conflict that occurred between you and the masculine. Duh, right? And this led to the divine feminine walking away. This led to the divine feminine to go off pursuing these 8 limbs of yoga and pursuing an honorable path. And as she did so with or without the masculine, she said, I'll do this with or without you because this is my duty. This is my promise that I made to this planet, to the people of this planet, to humanity, to myself, to you before we incarnated. So I'll do this with or without you, divine masculine. And a lot of you are probably feeling very detached even from the masculine right now. Like, I don't even want to talk to them. I don't even feel like I need to be in their presence. Or you may be feeling something you've never felt before. So it's normal to feel that way, and you'll feel waves of that. But I want you to know that the irony of that is that the more you feel kind of disconnected or detached, the closer you actually are to union, into that person coming back, into that communication, into a real long-lasting stable union, okay? Because in the reading I did earlier, the energy that came up in the tarot deck for the masculines was the King of Pentacles. So the masculines are working very hard on creating stability in their life, being that person that is stable, that can offer you what you deserve, divine feminine. And I want you to understand that they are not going to come forward if you've made it clear, if you've set these boundaries and there's been conflict and you're like, I'm not dealing with this drama anymore, or your karma, right? So you created positive karma by walking away from, maybe they were in another relationship. You created positive karma by walking away from that. And you're receiving that divine justice that's coming forth here in the months of April through August. Divine justice for the divine feminine, for the divine counterparts, for good, for the light in this world. But the masculines have some fear, and it's just an energy. Energy can shift at the drop of a hat. So it's just an energy. It's nothing to attach to or worry about, but they do have some fear surrounding this conflict that occurred. And, they see you in this they hold you to a very high, not high standard. They hold themselves to a very high standard. They hold you to, it's like a high caliber. They see you as different than other females or different than other males. They see you as untouchable almost, is what I'm seeing. They're very, very in love, guys. They're very in love with you, and I don't think they're seeing anybody else. You know, like in their heart of hearts, you're the only one that they see. So Divine Feminine, you are in this energy. No wonder they feel a little fear. You're very powerful right now because you're in the consciousness of, I deserve everything good. I deserve the world. I deserve the abundance. And this is a very spring-like energy. And we're in this energy of spring. We're about to hit the spring equinox here in our hemisphere. And it's like everything is going to bloom for the Divine Feminine. So the feminine knows that she is deserving of the best. And so it's like, if you can't offer me that, you can exit. The door is right there. And she just makes no qualms about it. She, if the masculine, were to come back, I don't think you'd operate the same way, Divine Feminine. You wouldn't treat them necessarily the same way that you did, because things have shifted and changed for you. And you know your worth. You know what you deserve. And they know that you know this, which is why they're holding you. They have you on a pedestal, is what I was trying to say. There's nothing that could take you off of that pedestal, as far as they're concerned. Like that's where you are, that's where you belong. And what they really need to work through is feeling like they're not good enough or like they don't deserve you. But continue with this, because the more you stand in your power and know what you deserve, you attract what you deserve, whether that's your counterpart or something better at this particular juncture in time. I want to ask for the Divine Masculines who have been completely silent for quite some time, like what's on their mind? Yeah, it's interesting because we got milestone in your higher self. It's very interesting because what I feel like intuitively is that what's happened is that they've gone through a milestone. And I've been talking a lot about the masculines who are 50 or about to turn 50, or, in that age bracket, or maybe even 40. They definitely are feeling the effects of time, and they're feeling the pressure to give themselves a life that they desire, to stop fucking around, to stop dicking around, and making these poor choices. It's like the only person you have to blame is yourself. But then self-blame doesn't get you anywhere. So it's about self-forgiveness and acceptance of your choices in your past, but then being able to move forward from that. So their higher self is guiding them. Their higher self is like, yes, they're having revelations coming from the higher self with regards to this milestone in their life. For some, it could be an achievement award. It could be, their children. And I don't think it's the children. No, it's something to do with them directly. So an achievement award, or turning a certain age, celebrating a birthday that's about to kind of slap them awake. Like, holy shit, you've lived half your life already. It's time to really get, your shit together, get your life on track, because time is stopping for no one. But they're definitely, in this energy where things have shifted, and it's bringing in a different sort of consciousness for the Divine Masculine that I feel like is going to bring them to, it's brought them to their knees in the past, and possibly even now. It's really, really made them emotional, made them really realize and have epiphanies about what life is really for. Like, why am I living this life? Why am I here? What is this all for? The bigger picture, okay, guys? The bigger picture for the Divine Masculine. Interesting. There's some sort of teacher that has entered his life, but it's interesting because this is next to his higher self. So his higher self is teaching him right now. But there could potentially, for a few, there could be an actual teacher coming in the form of another human that's going to open up their world and help them with this milestone, help them kind of get past this hump. And I know it's upsetting for you, Divine Feminine, because you want to be that person that's helping them through this milestone or teaching them. But there are things that we can't teach them because we have surpassed that point spiritually. And we can't go backwards and like bring them up. We have to keep on moving forward. They have to continue moving towards us and towards the direction of, you know, inner union. And we can't always be that person. So someone else in the physical may come in for that divine masculine to teach them. Okay. So for a lot of them, it's interesting. This is beautiful. I see an increase. They're in a cycle of increase. There could be a crash. Okay, crash and burn after this, because they could be in their egos a little bit. This does say, you know, an increase in abundance coming through, which can distract the masculine when they're in an unhealed masculine energy, or it can be very, you know, it can be a blessing. It really just depends on the masculine. It really honestly depends on what they are choosing to do with the abundance that's coming in. Let's see. They would be smart to save it. They would be smart to be humble. Interesting. So we get the energy of true love. Wow, we got the energy of true love with Radha in the reading for the masculines. They're feeling the love, but this is definitely self-love, because you can see the mirror. So it's definitely self-love, but also you know that you're the divine mirror for your counterpart. So this also speaks of the divine feminine. And he does see you. Like, this cycle is making him think of you. He's in the energy of true love, of like what he can give to you and how he can give back to the connection, especially if your masculine has been MIA, or has maybe you felt like he's given to other people, but he hasn't given to you necessarily. He wants to be able to provide and give back in some way to his divine feminine. And I feel like he feels like, you know, like money is like a form of love. But that's something that he'll be working on healing too, because the feminine is like, I just want your presence, and I just want stability, and I just want to know that you're going to be there for me. Money is great, but the feminine is off, you know, in this deserve it energy, making her own money, creating her own wealth. And that's really where the physical union comes in, is when the feminine is in the energy of deservedness and self-love, and also not allowing anything less than what she deserves, and creating her own wealth and abundance. And that's when the masculine comes in and is like, I want to offer you abundance. And she's like, I already have it, you know. So that can be a hit to the masculine. But it's also like, it's a lesson for him. Okay, so let's get some messages here from the divine masculine. Okay, so what's interesting is he definitely wants a reconciliation, okay? I'd love to have a reconciliation with you. I'm not sure how to go about it. I'm working on it, and I need to feel you again, right? So it's like he's feeling the absence or the loss of the feminine. He also says, the silence is driving me crazy. I miss you, and I'm waiting for the right time to approach you. I'm not sure when that is, but it won't be long. Please don't be mad at me soon. A little bit of a victim mentality there, like, please don't be mad at me. That's also a little codependent. But he knows that you're like, some of you have been aggravated. Many of you have just completely stepped back from having any sort of expectation about when he'll come forward, how he'll come forward, what the conversation will be, when it will be. And a lot of you are just, you know, when your masculine does come forward, you're going to be kind of quiet. And I feel like you're going to perhaps give them the opportunity to share what they've been up to, where they've been, why they did what they did. And you may not have a lot to say initially, because you're in this energy of individuality and freedom. And so, you know, don't be surprised if you react differently than what you would have expected. It may not be this romantic kind of rendezvous when they initially come back in, because I think for a lot of you guys, it's going to start as friendship. It's going to start where you develop the trust again. Otherwise, there's no foundation, okay? There has to be a stable foundation. That's what you're going to work on building first. So he also wants you to know that you're everything he's ever wanted. He really does feel like he's fucked things up. He's messed things up, and he's like, I'm just not sure how to fix it. And that's the fear energy that comes in from the conflict that he's had with you, because he knows that he really messed up and he made the wrong choices in the past, and he said the wrong things, and he hurt the person that he, you know, loves the most. and that he treasures the most. And so, you know, don't worry about that. Again, that's more of an energy. Fear is an energy. He has to overcome that. There's nothing you need to say or do to persuade him or help him or teach him. Let him come to that conclusion himself. He wants to let you know also that love has always been this kind of game for him. So it's been a game of who has the upper hand and who has the control. And that to him felt safer. So that's why the karmic situations ensued, because it's safer, because he really has nothing to lose. And it's just been this game. And you've probably noticed that, where they've tried to play that game with you and you're like, no, I'm not doing it. And the feminine doesn't even argue. She just simply walks away. She just walks away. So it wasn't a game with you. He wants you to know that. And he wants you to know also that he's really sorry that he treated it, you know, as a game, that he treated you the way he may have treated others. He didn't realize initially that you were gonna just be like, I'm not doing that. So the masculine, I'm not going to take feminine messages, just the masculine right now. So we're going to wrap it up for the sake of time, guys. But yeah, he says, I felt out of control with my feelings. I needed time and space to regroup. I didn't mean to hurt you. So let's get one more message here from the divine masculine. A lot of feminine messages coming out. Maybe I'll do that as a separate reading. I'm hiding the way I truly feel. And I have deep and unresolved wounds. You can't fix them. I must do it myself. We know that. So divine feminine, there's confirmation. He knows he needs to do this himself. I want you guys to focus, stay in your lane, you know, focus on yourselves and understand that this is all happening for a reason. Everything is, you know, everything's divinely orchestrated, divinely timed. Everything is working out. Trust the path and know that your divine masculine loves you very, very much. I'll see you guys soon.